In a shocking twist that surprised, well, basically everyone, Cedar Point unveiled a brand new roller coaster for the 2025 season. Designed by Vekoma, Siren's Curse will be the first of its kind here in the United States because I fully expect this roller coaster to open prior to Circuit Breaker, another tilt coaster anticipated to open at the new Codaland in Austin, Texas. But back to Siren's Curse. Wow, I did not see this one coming. We saw the teaser trailer earlier this week, but I assumed this was going to be another water park expansion or something simple. Cedar Point just opened, or I guess attempted to open a new roller coaster in 2024 with Top Thrill 2. Sure, it was a transformation of an already existent ride, but it was no simple upgrade, and I'm sure it cost a decent penny. Siren's Curse will be located in a chunk of land that sits in between Valraven, Millennium Force, and the harbor. Construction is already underway, and knowing Cedar Point, they plan on going vertical with the roller coasters sooner than later. Unlike Legacy Six Flags, where the roller coaster projects bleed all the way into the late summer, or just the next year in general, Cedar Point or Legacy Cedar Fair parks aim to have their new projects open with a park for the season. Siren's Curse is being touted as the tallest, fastest, and longest tilt coaster in North America. The ride has a height of 160 feet, or 49 meters, track length is 2,966 feet, or 904 meters, with a max speed of 62 miles per hour, or 93.3 kilometers per hour. The ride will feature 2 inversions, 13 moments of airtime, and of course, a vertical drop. Before we continue on with this analysis, please do me a favor and click on that like button. Newcomers to my channel, be sure to subscribe. Looking over the layout, this is going to be an exceptional ride. The tilt drop will be an audience grabber. I can just picture all the guests standing on the pathway below, freaking out as this roller coaster tilts into position before taking on that 90-degree plunge. I love how the drop twists at the bottom, something that we don't see too often on a steep drop like this. In fact, a lot of the layout looks fresh, unlike any other roller coaster in the park. It features a lot of typical elements found on newer Vekomas, but since we haven't seen a full-on thrill coaster by Vekoma in North America for quite some time, this is a welcome sight. The ride performs a ton of twisted elements that lead into airtime moments. The 2 inversions, which look to be low to the ground barrel rolls, I expect some nice laterals throughout. I also hear that these modern Vekoma trains are quite comfortable and smooth, so yeah, another reason why I'm raising the bar on this attraction. From drop to brakes, this looks to be a powerhouse of a ride. I expect this attraction to be on the more aggressive side. If I had to compare this with other rides in the park, I would say ride experience would be somewhat similar to Maverick, but again, both have their own layout and elements. As I mentioned earlier, Siren's Curse will have 13 airtime moments, and none of them look to be your basic airtime hill. So a lot of laterals, twists, turns, dives. This coaster is really packing a punch. The theming, which I can only base off the video, doesn't look to be much, or pretty much non-existent. However, I can't completely write this category off until we hear more about this project. I love the train design with what I assume is a glowing pink LED strip traveling down the side of each car. The green seats also stick out amongst the black train. My only gripe so far would be the track support color scheme. Cedar Point is going yet again with a red coaster track and typical dark gray supports. We have a lot of rust orange, red track colored coasters in the park, or across the globe for that matter. This is a pretty basic color scheme, which is disappointing when the train sports green and pink. Also, when I think Siren's Curse, I would expect more colorful, nautical-centric colors. In the end though, the theming and color scheme is just a minor complaint. Theming isn't really a major component with most coasters at Cedar Point. Now, 2 concerns I have is going to be capacity and reliability. Siren's Curse will operate with 2 24-passenger trains. If they can send a train every 90 seconds, we're looking at 960 riders an hour. I highly doubt this ride can send more than every 60 seconds, which would get us closer to 1,400 riders an hour, but nonetheless, this will not be a capacity monster, something that Cedar Point really needs. Also, being a tilt coaster, which from what I've seen in the past, haven't been the most reliable. I know technology has improved, Vekoma has built up their reputation, but comparing it to how 2024 has gone, building a relatively new coaster concept seems pretty ambitious. However, if this coaster proves to be reliable, which I am remaining optimistic, expect Siren's Curse to have the busiest queue in the park. In some way, this is a great release schedule. Having both Top Thrill 2 and Siren's Curse in operation will help balance out the heavy lines found on Maverick and Steel Vengeance. Now, I know it's really early talking coaster rankings, but if I had to guess where this ride would land in popularity, I would easily put it into the top 5, possibly top 3. Cedar Point already has an impressive lineup, and this just turned things up a notch. Bottom line, if you weren't already planning on going to Cedar Point next year, time to start planning that trip now. I really must say the East Coast has a couple great coasters coming out. Obviously, we have Siren's Curse and Alpine Fury at Canada's Wonderland, and we also can't forget about the Vekoma Launch Shuttle Coaster coming to Six Flags Great Adventure. But of those three, I don't know, I really think Siren's Curse has the potential to be the best, but I don't know, that Alpine Fury still looks pretty cool. But nonetheless, until next time, this is X Scream Thrills.